Welcome back to the Humane Society of Kawartha Lakes. Today we're going to bring you through an exciting tour of what happens behind the scenes when an animal comes into our care. So whether be it stray, whether it be it surrender, every animal gets their own individual life plan. And what that starts off with is an individual intake exam. And we're so happy that we have an RVT with us, Alex Fedorenko, and she's here with a lot of experience, a lot of her education, and she's just bringing exemplary care to the animals in our shelter. We want to make sure that our furry friends have the best possible care while they're here. It starts immediately with an intake exam. An intake exam will help us to determine if the animal needs to go to a vet right away or if it can wait for our regular scheduled appointment. Alex is here today with us. She's our RVT, our Registered Veterinarian Technologist. She is actually like a nurse, but for animals. So we're very happy to have her on board. She's got a lot of skills, experience, and this exam does a lot of things. It allows us to just really get up and personal with the animal, look at their personalities, but more importantly, to physically have a look at the animal to see what's going on and if it needs that emergency care. We've got Lauren in the background who is taking all of the information from Alex and putting it into our system. We've just seen Alex scan for a microchip. We didn't find any microchip on the animal.
1.94 kilograms.
And we're weighing the animal, which is really important to chart, especially with kittens, to make sure they're growing appropriately. Storm's being a really good superstar. Alex is just getting her stethoscope out. So she's checking for her heart rate, so she's calculating the beats per minute, but also, importantly enough, she's also listening to the heart to see if there's an irregularity. And she was just listening to the lungs just to make sure everything's clear and she's breathing normally and there's no abnormalities there. We're getting our thermometer ready. It's an ear thermometer.
37.8 degrees Celsius.
And she's normal, and we're checking to make sure she's normal within range. A high fever or low fever can mean an immediate trip to the veterinarian, so we want to make sure that happens. Alex is looking very gently into the ears, the eyes. The ears can indicate that there might be some parasites. There's also looking at the nose, see if there's any discharge. Also looking into the teeth. So really important that the teeth are noted if they're clean or need any dentistry, but she'll get a look over with the vet, but important for the gums. So if the gums are white or the gums are gray, that means that's an emergency trip to the vet immediately for that cat. She's looking nice and healthy so far. And here we're just did that little pinch of the neck, pulled up a bit and twisted it down. It wasn't really even a little pinch, she didn't even notice it, but that just shows our hydration, and she's nice and hydrated, so her owners were doing a really good job of feeding her and watering her before she came into us. We're looking at her toes just to make sure, see if there's any irregularities there. Alex is looking for maybe some little friends that are on board, like fleas or tick or any other dandruff.
We do have some dirt coming off.
Couldn't do this without our volunteers, but they will help us grooming the animals on when they need them, and even just for enrichment, they love to be groomed. Most of them anyways.
Skin is normal.
And this is telling us a lot about the kitten, how well she's just behaving and allowing Alex to do all kinds of abnormal things to her, but she's still having a nice little visit.
Musculoskeletal is normal.
So Alex just checked out the musculoskeletal, and what that is a big fancy word for just making sure the bones are good and sturdy, if there's any breakage or if there's any abnormalities from birth.
Male.
Oh, we're a male. We've been calling it a her in such a nice disposition. So what we're looking for there, if the abdomen is maybe a little tight or could be over, could have a lot of worms in them, so it would feel kind of loose and jiggly. So BAR is a technical term for bright, alert, and responsive, and definitely this little young lad is definitely that. We're going to close the light here. We're performing the part of, it's called a woods lamp. So we are looking for, in specific, a spore that is called ringworm. We want to make sure that if we find anything, we can really isolate from the beginning and it doesn't spread to our volunteers, our staff, or any other furry friend members in the shelter. And if we did find something, it would look like it would glow. And if it glowed yellow, that would indicate that we would, like I said, immediately isolate, but then we would also ring up the vet right away and say, hey, we might have a suspect. So now here comes a little bit of the ouchies. So not only part of the intake exam is to figure out if there's anything abnormal, and we're going to start the vaccines right away. Super important for the individual health of the animal, but also for herd health. So there are animals coming in that will have sickness or they're about to become sick, and then that vaccine will help protect that animal and also protect the herd as well, so everybody's not getting sick in the shelter. A vaccine is being implanted right now. Didn't even notice that. He's like, oh, what's happening? Oh, I might as well swallow that little food bite. And Alex has done this 1,000 times, so she's got nice light hands. Lauren's super experienced around animals, so it's a good team that we've got going. So now we've got vaccine, we've got the flea and tick, and the flea and tick is topical over top of the shoulder, also includes the dewormer. So anything that's going along in there, we've got that covered. So we just saw an intake exam, and our friends, our team members here, have determined that Storm is a young male. He's intact, which technically means he still has his jingleberries, and we will need to get a neuter booked up for him right away. Very, very active, very friendly, kid-friendly, because we were manipulating him and doing all sorts of pinches and pokes and prods, and he was just a gentleman. So we're happy that we have him in our care and that we'll be able to take some pictures. We have a professional photographer that comes in. Alex will get him booked on our next surgery, and then we'll get him a loving home, which he deserves.
I enjoy getting up each day and coming to work because I see the difference in my families and the clients, the difference that we all make on their lives and taking stress away from them. So it's been wonderful. Hi, I'm Tammy Adams, the owner of Silverlight Senior Services. I opened my business in 2018. The reason I opened it is I saw a lack of supports in Kawartha Lakes for seniors. There was a need for companionship, a driving service, and also when COVID hit, the isolation that seniors felt. So I started out with companionship and driving services. So then there was a need for personal support workers. So during the time in there, I did go back to school and get my certificate for PSW also. I wanted to know what I was talking about when I was interviewing PSWs and watching over them. So for the past 4 years, it's been the services in the community. So we go into their homes or long-term care or retirement homes to give the families a break. They get very overwhelmed, tired, burnt out. So been doing that. I'm up to 10 staff now. Over a year ago, I was getting a lot of phone calls for people wanting some kind of day respite. So Susan and I put our heads together and we started looking for property to open an adult day program that focused specifically on dementia and Alzheimer's. So as of November 1st, 2022, we opened up Silverlight's adult day program here at 185 St. George Street in Lindsay. It's opened Monday to Friday, 9 till 3 each day, so families can drop their loved ones off. We've had a great year, still have a few spaces open, but we've built a lot of very special relationships with our clients and with our families. It's also a very personalized supports, so everything in here is based on each person, their wants and needs, what they need. We've all been trained in dementiability. We've actually become dementiability certified, so everything's going great. About 2 years ago, I was overwhelmed. I had to hire someone to be manager director of Silver Lights, and that was Susan Fisher.
My name is Susan Fisher. I'm the managing director of Silver Lights Senior Services and the manager of the Adult Day program for dementia that opened up in November 2022 in Lindsay, Ontario. When I speak to groups and at events, I always ask people, you know, when you hear the word dementia, what do you think of? And usually I get an overwhelming response filled with negative things, such as irritability, frustration, responsive behaviors, forgetfulness, etc. But if you were to ask one of our staff here at the Adult Day program that same question, you would get a very different answer. We follow the dementiability model of care, and we are the only dementiability certified facility here in the city of Kawartha Lakes. At our day program, we strive to expose the abilities of those living with dementia and celebrate their successes. With dementia being viewed in such a negative light most of the time, we strive each and every day to make it our mission to change the way our community views dementia. There is such a huge need for these services in the city of Kawartha Lakes, both in the home and in an adult day program. For many seniors, they want to live at home. They don't want to move into a long-term care facility, but they need a little bit of help in order to stay at home. So that's where Silver Lights comes in. Our staff can go in and help seniors stay in their homes for as long as possible and as safely as possible. They can do anything from meal preparation, helping them bathe, helping them with activities of daily living like house cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, taking them out to appointments, running errands, etc. And this is a great service for seniors in the community because without that, a lot of them would have to go into hospital or into long-term care.
The day program offers daily exercises. We do like a home cooked meal dining experience. We have generational visits from a daycare here in town. They come once a week. We have pet therapy once a week. Right now, Erin, our pet therapy dog, she's on maternity leave. She just had 10 puppies. We do special outings. We do music therapy, expressive therapy. So what I wanted to do is encourage everyone to visit my website and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you or your loved one feel you could benefit from any of our services, we'd love to meet you. And right now we're currently looking for PSWs. We offer great pay, benefits, a great atmosphere to work, and all of our clients are just wonderful. They treat us all like family.
So the Adult Day program for dementia here with Silver Lights offers a lot of benefits for both the person living with dementia as well as their care partner. For the person living with dementia, the day program offers a secure and home-like environment where they can participate in beneficial and meaningful activities, make lasting friendships, and get the support and the care that they need. Participating in the day program, again, helps them stay out of long-term care for as long as possible and age at home safely and securely with their families. All of our staff at the Adult Day program for dementia have a passion for helping individuals living with dementia to reach their full potential. For their care partners, the day program offers them respite and peace of mind. Being a care partner for someone living with dementia can be a physically and emotionally difficult job. And oftentimes the care partner prioritizes their loved one's care over their own. Knowing that their loved one is safe and socially and physically active and enjoying themselves gives them peace of mind. We always need volunteers. We are always welcoming like-minded volunteers at our Adult Day program. We're currently looking for caring and compassionate individuals to help us with things like music therapy, help us at lunchtime to make the dining experience more pleasurable for our clients, and to spend time with all of our amazing people that walk through our door.
Silver Lights is a family-owned and operated company. We focus more on high-quality service on our clients. The PSW community service make up about 85% of my business. I participated in the Starter Plus program in 2020, I think it was. I took advantage of all their resources and training, and I've also used the Kawartha Lakes Small Business and Entrepreneurial Center too.
Learn more about Silver Light Senior Services by visiting our website at www.silverlightsseniorservices.com or finding us on social media.
But every day as a schoolgirl, we'd come down the road, and I would always say to myself, oh my gosh, I want to live there. I want to buy that house one day. The house, a local friend of mine had said, hey, the Janetville mansion's for sale. And it was almost as if it was like this visceral response. I'm like, without even like a millionth of a second later, I'm like, I'm buying it. I was so certain. A newsprint article from the Watchman in 1885, and it shared that it was the second doctor. In it, it said, Dr. Allen is building the most grand mansion on the north side of Janetville. He, of course, was the second person on title, or the next doctor on title, so we can make an assumption that it was Dr. Allen that built the home based on that one piece. We do have a couple of other pieces of documentation that also confirm that. So that's an interesting piece that we discovered. And then there were three other doctors, Dr. Naismith, Dr. McCullough, and Dr. Johnstone. And they were here for a span of 40 years. And then by 1918, the doctors had left this house specifically and had moved on. I often think about what this house would have represented for this community, and it would have been a place for hope. You know, it was a place of hope. It was where people came and got well. Lots of babies were born here. Unfortunately, people passed away and they would lie and rest here. So I think to myself how important this house was for the community. And in many ways, when I think of coming back to Janetville and taking on this task of renovating and restoring her, I feel so much pride because of the impact that this house has had on the community, and how I kind of get to continue supporting this beautiful home's life, because she will stand here many, many more decades after all the work that I've done on her. We discovered that after Dr. John McAlpine and Dr. Allen, as part of the home story, it went directly to the Naismith family, but it didn't go directly to the doctor. It went to his mother. And the mother owned the home for about 3 years before it was transferred into her son's name. And her name was Primrose Naismith. And I still kind of get goosebumps about this, because why did I name this house Primerose Hilll Manor? Where did that name come from? It could have been any flower name. Could have been Lily, could have been Rose, could have been anything. why Primrose? Primrose, and I feel like maybe the house was speaking to me, that was the name to choose. Before I purchased the home, I contacted the city of Kawartha Lakes for just to get the particulars about the heritage designation. So I got a very clear list of what I could and could not do. And I don't think someone buys a heritage protected property unless they have like this just absolute love for the heritage elements. So I was excited, and in many ways, sometimes there's this fear of like, oh gosh, you're working, within the confines of a designation. But I had such an incredible experience working with the city of Kawartha Lakes. I mean, I cannot say anything more than just gratitude and appreciation. Primerose Hilll Manor is on 5.5 acres, and when people drive by along Janettville Road, they assume that this house is much larger than it actually is. There are only 3 bedrooms, and yes, there are many grand or sort of large-sized rooms in this house. I would suspect that because it was primarily a doctor's house, that it was not created as a family home. Hence, there only being 3 bedrooms. And I'm in the library. And the library is a room that I didn't actually need to restore. It was the only room that had wallpaper that was in perfect condition. And the beautiful fireplace that's beside me, although it's not functional, it is still heritage protected and one of the most beautiful elements of this particular room. The house itself is, what's beautiful about it is that there's outdoor porches or, these areas. So behind me, there's an access to a balcony, which has the most beautiful Italianate sort of scrolling on the woodwork. And there are other areas in the house where you can just kind of breeze out into a garden terrace or into the conservatory or another sunroom. So it is a beautifully lit house. There are 57 windows from top to bottom. And what I love to do, and I know that this is sort of a very design, I wouldn't call it a rule, but a guideline, is to always mix new and old, and you end up getting something with a more beautiful result. So I have an old mirror that was actually in the house. It went to auction, and I had to find out where the auction was so that I could buy it back. And I purchased this old mirror and I put it back up into this spot. This room is a powder room, and I just felt like it to have the dark walls and the beautiful gold added sort of this beautiful sort of richness to the room. But what is also important in design is to always have something that's unexpected. So this is more of an industrial tap, and to that juxtaposition of having sort of something a little bit more new, something raw, a little bit more industrial against an old mirror, this kind of works. And in the end, I'm just so happy the way that this room turned out. There are 4 beautiful geometrical patterns that are inlaid in the flooring here at Primerose Hilll Manor. An octagon, a pentagon, a square, and a diamond. And in the hallway, there are 2, and then there are 2 more that are tucked away under carpets in the grand parlor. But the truth of the matter is, I know that they're there, and they are, all 4 of them are a special sort of contribution to the beauty of this home. So bright. I'm a morning person, so when the sun rises in the east, I get to see this beautiful landscape that is before me as I look out the windows. But I added cabinetry that went all the way up to the ceiling because I felt that it just accentuated the beauty of and height of this room. And I added just little details of gold just to add a little bit more of luxury. I added a black and white flooring, and I kind of felt like That was more of a traditional nod to like the Victorian era. Thank you for allowing me to share my history of this beautiful landmark property here in Kawartha Lakes. If you would like to learn more about the before and afters of this beautiful home and how I restored her back to her former glory, feel free to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, and my handle is Primerose Hilll Manor.